This is the Unapologetic Entrepreneur Podcast, a podcast for passionate entrepreneurs just like yourself who are looking to create a profitable and productive business that you are proud of. On this show, we explore entrepreneurship success stories, but not just the highlights. We get into the nitty-gritty details so that you know more about the path traveled to achieve that success. See, I'm on a mission to help you never feel like a failure again when it comes to achieving your goals. And so much of that is setting realistic expectations of the effort needed, goals that align with the season of your life, and ensuring that you have the accountability in place that you need. So on this podcast, you can expect real conversations, practical tips, and lots of encouragement along the way so that you have everything you need to follow through and actually achieve your definition of success. So if you're ready to go from unsure to unapologetic, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Hello, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am absolutely thrilled that you are here because this episode and this topic is one that just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I could not wait to record an episode on this. And I don't know if you know this of how sometimes I test ideas of like, does this resonate with other people, not just me? Is I received an email that had this message in it. And what I did was I then in turn shared it with my email list. So if you're on my email list, you might even remember this. But a few weeks ago, however long ago it was, I actually sent an email that had this quote in it. And it's a quote from James Clear. And so I'll read it to you. But what I did is I shared it inside of one of my emails and I received messages back. This is when I know that it's really resonating with people. It didn't just hit me like a ton of bricks, it hit you like a ton of bricks too. And so when I have an idea that maybe I share in an email and it gets a response like that, that means I need to dig a little bit deeper and probably share it on the podcast too. So it can go both ways. I can share more in email after I share it on the podcast, but typically speaking, I kind of test an idea to see, does this have, some traction? And if it does, I'll then put it on the podcast. So on that note, if you have some ideas of what you'd like to hear on the podcast, I would love to hear from you. So please send me an email. You can send it to amanda@amandamckinney.com and let me know that you've got an idea. I'd love to hear from you. And you never know. It could be on the podcast very soon. So like I said, I received an email and it's from James Clear. So if you don't have a subscription to his email newsletter, it's completely free. Please make sure to go to the link in the show notes and get his email because it's so cleverly done. And not just clever, it's so helpful and it's so easy. It's skimmable. It's called the 1, 2, 3. And so he shares a very routine, it's the same every week, but different content, obviously, because it's an email. And so what he talked about in a recent email is hidden cost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read his words and then kind of dig a little bit deeper. But this is what I received, and I read this and I was like, oh my gosh, like the hit like a ton of bricks. This is such an important message for all of us. So here are his words. When you choose the benefits of an action, you also choose the drawbacks. If you want to be an author, you can't only choose the finished novel and the book signings. You are also choosing months of lonely typing. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you can't only choose the fit body and attention. You are also choosing the boring meals and calorie counting. You have to want the lifestyle, not just the outcomes. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense being jealous. The results of success are usually public and highly visible, but the process behind success is often private and hidden from view. It's easy to want the public rewards, but also you have to want the hidden cost. Isn't that so good? For us, when we think about growing a business, maybe the bodybuilder example didn't resonate with you, but maybe finishing your book did. And we want the outcome. We always want an outcome when we set goals, which I'm a huge fan of, as you know. When we set a goal and we are looking at what the outcome is, I want to finish the book. I want to start the podcast. I want to grow my business. I want to grow my email list. I want to make more money. I want to help more people. Whatever it is, it's the outcome. But what you have to also think about, and what James really talks about, is you have to know what you're going to have to put in. And you've probably heard me and several other people talk about this before. You have to know the effort the effort that you're going to have to put in. And earlier this year, I gave a talk back in January in front of a room full of people, and it was in person. And I said that we often really underestimate the effort required. And so I talked and I asked people, what is the effort that you're going to have to put in to hit the goal this year? And are you willing and are you capable of doing it? And that question really hit them hard. It really hit everyone hard of like, oh gosh, I really have to think about that and not just the outcome, because the outcome's fun. The outcome's cool. The outcome is that moment when you're like, I did it. But like James said, if you want to finish that novel, you have to write. And it's going to suck. There's going to be times where you don't feel like writing. You're going to be tired. The words aren't going to come easily. There's going to be a lot of roadblocks in your way. There's going to be a lot of other things you'd rather be doing. But if you really want that feeling of success of I finished that novel, then you'll do it and you'll actually put in that effort. So when I was thinking about us as business owners and what this could look like, and I reflected back on not only my experience, but with my clients. And when I work with clients, I ask them these questions of, okay, this is what you want. Are you willing to do X, Y, and Z? What are you going to have to sacrifice? And specifically when I work with people in a one-on-one basis or a small group basis for a long period of time, which is generally 3 months or more, this is when I get to be a real big support. And so if you're looking for super support on like the level of making sure you stay focused and finish your goal, that's the level that you'd want to work with me on, is that 3 months. Because you don't have to keep it front of mind. I will. You have the goal. I know your goal. We're tracking it. And when you come to a call or when you message me and say you have this new idea, I then get to say, whoa, 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 but you said you wanted to do this thing. And then you get to say, but Amanda, it's hard and I don't want to do it. And you get to be honest with that. There's no judgment coming from my side because it is hard. It is hard what you're doing. But what I get to say is, okay, here's what you told me. Here's why this goal is so important. You told me this was what it was important for you, why it was important, and why you care about it. Is that still the case? Yes. Okay, then let's keep going. Let's put that other idea on the shelf and let's stay focused because you said you were willing to put in this effort. And sometimes we just got to talk it out. But if you're by yourself, if you're lonely, doing the hard work by yourself, if you have to get up early in the morning and hit that exercise bike when you don't feel like doing it, it's hard. And I use that as an example because that is my example of it is hard to get on that exercise bike in the morning when it's so cozy in bed and I could use 30 more minutes of sleep. Oh, it's so hard sometimes, but I want the end result. I want the outcome of being someone who does move her body every single day and really has good cardiovascular health and all of these things. I want the outcome. And so I need to be okay with the effort. So going back to us as business owners, here's what it could mean for you. I'm going to give a list of actual examples that I've pulled from clients that I've worked with and from myself. And this could be something that you have to do. Maybe it means early mornings or nights when that's not your favorite. You prefer to work one or the other, but you have to do the other one simply because it's this season of life. Maybe it's consistent learning even when it's really, really hard to comprehend it. And it's hard. It seems like it's coming easy to everyone else, but it's really hard for you right now. But you're committed to consistently learning. Maybe it's dealing with negativity with your thoughts, your own thoughts, or maybe it's dealing with negativity of other people thinking about, oh, I don't really like that idea of yours. And you have to deal with the negativity that comes along with getting feedback or sharing your ideas. So you have to deal with either yourself negativity or others. Maybe it's lack of sales. You put that thing out there and no one buys it. No one says yes right away. And you have to really sit in that and think, okay, why? Why did no one buy? And you have to ask people, why didn't you buy this thing? That's hard. That's hard to do. It's super valuable though. And once you do it once, you'll be like, okay, that was worth it. It was hard, but it was worth it. Maybe it's low engagement on social media. Maybe something you really want to do is to be consistent on social media and you keep putting things out there and you keep doing it and you keep doing it. And dang it, no one's liking it. No one's commenting. No one's messaging you. Nothing. You're not seeing the progress. But you're so excited to share this content with people, but it's just not clicking yet. So that consistency and putting things out there and not seeing the results right away is really, really hard. What if it's, and most likely this is everyone, uncertainty? You're trying to do something big in your business and you are uncertain about everything. Maybe I'm choosing the wrong technology. Maybe this is the wrong words to use. Maybe no one's going to buy this. The uncertainty is so hard to navigate when we are trying to hit a goal. And maybe it's, if you're like me, realizing how little you can actually control when it comes to selling in your business. Now, there's a lot you can control, but there's a lot that's out of your control. And that's a hard thing to do because chances are you got into this business because you wanted to control your schedule and how much money you made. And those are the two things. You can control more of your schedule, but the money side of things is a little bit more difficult. You can control what you do, but not what people spend. So there is that. So going through and really understanding what is going to be required of me to hit this goal. And that's what I really want you to do. I want you to be honest with yourself. So whatever it is that you want to do for the remainder of the year, for the next 90 days, whatever it is that you're looking at, I want you to write down that goal. I want to start the podcast. I want to create that course. I want to sign 3 more one-on-one clients. I want to grow my email list. I want to help 50 women by the end of the year. Whatever your goal is, I want you to write down that goal. And then right under it, I want you to ask yourself, what effort is going to be required of me? What sacrifices will I have to make? How hard do I think this is going to be? And be honest with yourself. Now, here's the thing. It's going to be hard, but if you can fall in love with the process, like James Clear says, if you can identify the hidden cost and you can fall in love with the process and really understand that I'm going to learn every step of the way, then the outcome will get there. You will get to the outcome and it won't feel as hard as you think it's going to be. Right now, when you make that list, it's going to feel like, man, this is going to be real tough. But it's the dream that's on your heart. And I want you to take it down to a smaller milestone or whatever it is that you need to do. And ask yourself, am I capable of putting in this effort? When I say capable, I mean, do you have the current time to dedicate to this? Do you have the energy to dedicate to this? Do you have the finances, if those are needed? Do you have the skills or the knowledge? Am I capable of doing this? So if you say, I want to sign 3 more clients by the end of the year, are you capable? Do you have the time to reach out and, invite people to your offering? Do you have the energy to hear no a few times and keep going and keep asking people and keep talking about that offering? Because it's not going to be the first 3 people that say yes. Do you have the finances? Do you have the ability to take that time? And do you need anything? When it comes to reaching out to people, you probably don't have to do much in terms of finances with that, but there could be other things you have to do. Do you have the skills and the knowledge? The answer to that, yes. If you already have clients, if you have helped people, if you've helped yourself, you have the skills and you have the knowledge. Do not let that stop you. You can always have more, but don't let it stop you. You can do it. But that's not the only question you have to ask yourself. So now you've identified your goal. You've asked yourself what the effort is going to be. Then you ask yourself one question. Am I capable of doing this? Do I have the time, energy, finances, skills, and knowledge? The next question is, am I willing to commit to this? This is the tough one. This is the tough one where people get really either defensive with me when I ask this question, or they are very tempted to lie. I say this because we all do it, and myself included. If I'm in front of someone and they say, Amanda, do you have the capability to do this? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Amanda, do you have the willingness? Abso-freaking-lutely is the answer, right? Yeah, I'm excited about this. I am definitely willing to do this. I need coaches, and I have become the coach that I believe that we all need, is to say, okay, let's go through that list again. Are you willing to wake up 1 hour early every day to write so you can finish that book? Even when you don't feel like it, are you willing? Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to send those emails when it feels uncomfortable? Are you willing? And asking yourself through all that list, am I willing to do this? But here is the biggest thing I need you to understand. It is okay if the answer is no. I need you to love yourself and be so proud of yourself if you identify that the answer is no. In this season of life, if you do not want to do that, you don't have to. But you do have to be honest with yourself. A lot of people have gotten very, very defensive with me when I've asked this question. And very kindly, no one's been rude, but they've said, yeah, Amanda, I am willing. Just like I said, yeah, I am definitely willing. And it's not that you're not willing to do it at any point. It's you have to ask yourself, in this current season of my life, am I willing to do X? Am I willing to do Y? And please hear me, friend. If the answer is no, it's okay. That is a great thing to know. Answer the question honestly and say, no, I'm not willing to do that. Maybe next year. Maybe I'll do that next year. But right now, no. And then just go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what am I willing to do and what am I capable of doing in this season? And it could be towards the same goal. So maybe you want to finish that book, but you cannot promise right now to give yourself an hour a day. That's just not possible. And that was the original goal. Okay, what about 10 minutes? Who said you can't do just 10 minutes? It's amazing what you can get done in 10 minutes. Are you willing to do 10 minutes every day? If the answer is yes, by golly, that's your new goal, right? It doesn't mean you have to give up on the goal. It just means you have to change the effort that's going into it and probably the milestone. It's the timeline. It's the whatever it is. What are you capable and willing to do? So I want you to take action with this. Let's go back to James Clear's words of we have to understand the hidden cost. It's really easy to want the outcome, but we have to want the lifestyle. We have to want the process. So first step for you, and the next step that I want you to take today, please, please, please don't push this off. I know it's really easy to listen to multiple podcasts in a row. Maybe you're driving, you're doing something else. Pause just for 10 minutes and open up a voice note on your phone and talk this out instead of writing it or whatever the case is. I want you to take 10 minutes and think about the goal that you're pursuing. And I want you to ask yourself, what will be required of me to achieve this goal? What effort, what sacrifices, what's the process look like? And write it down. And then you ask yourself, am I willing and am I capable to put in this effort? If the answer is yes, you, my friend, keep on going. You keep going and you celebrate all the progress you make. But if the answer is no, I want you to really celebrate yourself for being honest and simply adjust the goal. Maybe it's a completely new one. Maybe you don't want that goal anymore. And it's okay to reset the goal completely. Or maybe it's simply adjusting the timeline. That's all you have to do. But you have to be honest about yourself. And if this episode, if this conversation has really made you think, you know what would be really helpful, is if someone asked me those questions, because it's going to be really hard for me to be honest to myself. Please find someone. I'd love to be that person for you. If I feel like the right coach for you, please, please, please reach out. You can find the coaching sessions that I have on my website at amandamckinney.com. And I would love to work with you. I've opened up more space in the fall. I'm recording this in 2024, so this is releasing in September. I have opened up more spaces because I know that this is going to be something that people want to talk through and need support with. And I would absolutely love to support you in this. And so all you have to do is go to my website, find the option that is best for you. I've got a single coaching session as well as ongoing coaching, and I can work with you in either way. I would love to help you. I would ask you these questions. We would walk through it step by step together, create the plan, and then you're off to setting that goal and to hitting that goal. And it's going to be great because you'll be sure that you're willing and capable of going after it. So if I am not the right person, please find a person for you to ask that question. If you know it's going to be hard for you to answer these questions honestly on your own, find a friend, a partner, a biz bestie, another coach, a mentor, anyone that you can talk to, and just say, hey, I need you to ask me these questions. Here are the questions I need you to ask. And please just let me talk it out and ask me for clarifying answers. because you need to talk it out. If you know you won't be honest with yourself, you've got to find some support with that. And needing support and knowing that you need support is great. And it's a great sign of strength and self-awareness. So don't think that you're not doing it right if you can't be honest with yourself. It's hard. And finding that support you need is a wonderful thing for sure. So until next time, give yourself permission to understand what you are willing and capable of doing and being okay whether the answer is yes or no, and changing the goal if you need to. And of course, lots of grace along the way. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you found it helpful or inspiring, be sure to share it with someone else who could use it too. Sharing is caring, but it's also a huge boost to your accountability. Sharing this message and then talking about it will ensure that you actually take the action that was mentioned in this episode. Hello, accountability. There's nothing better than the feeling of actually following through, and I want that for you. So screenshot it, share it, and if you share it on Instagram, be sure to tag me at @TheAmandaMcKinney too. Until next time.